Again, good afternoon and welcome to the Space Coast Regional Airport for this exciting day for Brevard County and economic development. I just want you all to know this is the third time I've been up here to make announcements in the last 2 or 3 months, so we're really pleased that North Brevard seems to be doing so well. My name is Bob Whelan. I have to read that just to remind myself. I am the chairman of the board of the Economic Development Commission of Florida Space Coast. I'm also a corporate vice president for Harris Corporation, way down at the other end of the county. Our president and CEO, Linda Weatherman, sends her regrets. She couldn't be here this afternoon. She had a prior commitment. Before we begin with the announcement, I'd like to recognize our public officials that are joining us today. If you would be so kind as to hold your applause until each of them have been recognized. The Honorable Thad Altman, Florida State Senator. The Honorable Tom Goodson, Florida State Representative. The Honorable Chuck Nelson, Chairman, Brevard County Board of County Commissioners, District 2. The Honorable Robin Fisher, Brevard County Board of County Commissioners, District 1. The Honorable Mary Boleyn Lewis, Brevard County Board of County Commissioners, District 4. The Honorable James Tully, Mayor of the City of Titusville. The Honorable Walt Johnson, Vice Mayor, City of Titusville. The Honorable Rita Pritchett, City Council Member, City of Titusville, The Honorable Frank Sullivan, Canaveral Port Authority Commissioner, District 3. Barbara Arthur, Regional Director, Office of U.S. Senator Bill Nelson. Susan Fernandez, Regional Director, Office of U.S. Senator Marco Rubio. Patrick Gavin, Director of Community Relations, Office of Congressman Bill Posey. And Don Pardue, District Director, Office of Congresswoman Sandy Adams. Please join me in a round of applause. I'm sorry, I regretted to introduce Martha Long, Titusville City Council. Sorry. We actually wanted to make sure you got your own special round of applause, Martha, so that's why I did it on purpose. On behalf of the EDC's Board of Directors, I'm pleased to be with you to announce a significant economic development project which will not only benefit the city of Titusville, but also the Space Coast and the state of Florida as a whole. The company has been known for nearly a year in economic development circles as Project Speed. To give us the true name of the project and the moment we've all been waiting for, it's now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Jim Tully, City of Titusville, and Brevard County Commissioner Robin Fisher. They're coming up as well.
Well, thank you all for coming out. Is it great to be in Titusville or what? Yeah. I tell you, I am not normally one to lose sleep. I have never had that problem. Good Navy training, I guess. But I've been so excited for the last couple of days, I actually had trouble getting to sleep last night. So this is just such an incredibly exciting day for all of us. I know you're just dying to have Commissioner and I pull those strings there, but I'm going to keep you in suspense just a tad longer, because you have to understand that this did not happen by accident. This happened because of the incredible hard work of an awful lot of people here. And before I pull those strings, I'm going to make sure that everyone in this room understands who played the roles that they did and just how much work went into this. First of all, Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. I don't believe we have anyone here representing them, but certainly the state was involved, as well as Enterprise Florida. Is Casey Barnes here? Not here. And I'm not going to ask you to hold your applause, because I'd like every one of these individuals to have their moment in the sun because they all worked so incredibly hard. Brevard Workforce played a great role. Lisa Rice, are you here, Lisa? She's not, but we have representatives from Brevard Workforce. Space Florida, Frank DeBello, Howard Haug, and Kevin Williams. Are you guys here? I didn't see Frank. The Economic Development Commission of the Space Coast. Bob is right behind me, along with Greg Weiner, Julie Roslin, and Dina Ryder Hicks. I saw Dina and Julie are back there someplace. There's Dina. Julie, where are you? Julie, there she is. Okay, great work. Thank you so much, EDC. The North Brevard Economic Development Zone. I've been to any number of their meetings, and they were behind this 100%. I'd like each of them to be recognized. Dr. George Mkhitaryan, I didn't see George here today. Dr. Brenda Fetro, Robert Jordan, who's the secretary, John Beasley, is John here? No. Louis Sanders, there's Louis. Micah Lloyd, I saw Micah wandering around. Where are you, Micah? Danny Aton, I didn't see him, but Stan Retz is here. Where are you, Stan? And Don Mount. Great work to all of you. Well, we're on airport property, aren't we? The Airport Authority played a tremendous role in this. The chairman of the authority, Jerry Sansom, I know Jerry's here. And the executive director of the airport, Michael Powell. Where's Michael? There he is in the back. The Titusville Area Chamber of Commerce, Marcia Gadke in the back. Parish Medical Center played an incredible role. Dr. Mkhitaryan once again. And Natalie Sellers, you're here too. There she is over there. The Brevard County Board of County Commissioners, the county manager, Howard Tipton. I saw him. Howard, where are you? Is right there. And our own county commissioner, Robin Fisher. Some of the local folks, our Space Coast Economic Development Commission. This was the board that I think put the last piece of the puzzle in place, helping us get a building or a temporary building for Project Speed. Mike Werner, the president of the Space Coast of the Economic Development Commission, SEDC as they're referred to. Thank you so much, Mike, for you and your team. I saw some of the other members here. Bob Kirk is here, and who else is here from the EDC? Susan Palmer, Lori. Okay, great job, guys. And last but not least, the city of Titusville. What a team. Courtney Barker, our planning director, Woody Rice, city engineer. Suzanne Graham and Kathy Daniels, who helped put the event together. Our new economic development director, Laura Kennedy. Laura, where are you? What an incredible job. Laura's a dynamo. We're so fortunate to have her on the Titusville team. And of course, leading it all, our city manager, Mark Ryan. Mark, where are you? There he is in the back. So, I sure hope I didn't miss anybody. What an incredible team. And I do have to mention also that we've got some goodies for you in the back, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Café Chocolat, who is providing the goodies. So you'll be pleasantly surprised when we get back into the dining room in the back. Okay, I guess I've made you wait long enough. You're all dying to see what's behind that sign. Do we have a band here? Is there a drum roll or something? No drum roll? All right. Commissioner Fisher, how about getting up and helping me do this?
Sure.
One, pull. Okay, just a few quick closing remarks. You see that sign over there? It says, Titusville, the gateway to nature and space. Well, through this company, we are about to open another new gateway to space, aren't we? Just absolutely incredible. And when you go in the back room and you see what Rocket Crafters is all about, you are going to be amazed. Our destiny is clear. Our course is set. The past is now behind us, and the future of Titusville and Brevard County is as bright as I can imagine. I will tell you what, we are on the brink of becoming the kind of community that many of us have envisioned for quite a while. a truly unique place that will attract the kind of bright, energetic, creative people that want to change the world. We are on the brink of becoming even more than the gateway to nature and space. We are about to fulfill our destiny as the North Star of the Space Coast, leading the way to a brighter future for all of Brevard County. So with that, it's just an incredible day for Titusville. And Commissioner Fisher, would you like to say a few words before we pass the baton? He's got him scripted? He's scripted? Okay. Well, Bob, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Again, it's a great day for Titusville. Thank you all for coming.
Well, thank you, Mayor Tully. We're all excited to welcome rocket crafters and its innovative technology to the Space Coast. To discuss more about what rocket crafters will bring to Brevard County, it's my pleasure to introduce President and Chief Technology Officer Ron Jones. Ron?
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be here, to be welcomed in such a grand fashion. We were just overwhelmed with the hospitality from the Space Coast area of Florida and Titusville and Brevard County. What I'd like to do first, though, is to introduce the members of our senior management team that are here with us today. And if I can get this slide projector to work, I'm not sure which button I'm supposed to use here. There we go. I'd like to first introduce Paul Larson. Paul, you want to stand up? Paul is our Chief Executive Officer and our Chairman of the Board. Steve Edwards. Steve is executive. He's a board member and Vice President of Government Relations. Sid Gutierrez. Sid is a board member and Senior Vice President of Business Development. And by the way, this is not Sid's first time for being here in the Titusville area, although I think probably one of his last departures was vertically. Sid is a former NASA astronaut. And John Roberts, our Vice President of Propellants and Facilities. And as mentioned earlier, I'm Ron Jones, and I'm President and Chief Technology Officer. On behalf of our management team, we are just delighted to have picked what we believe is not only the best place for us to do our work here, picking Florida and Titusville and Brevard County, not just in relationship to the other states that we considered, but we believe that this is the best place in the world for us to do what we're planning to do here. I'm going to try to keep this brief, and by the way, if anyone would like to take their jackets off, please do. Rocket Crafters is a young company that possesses phenomenal new breakthrough technology in the aerospace field, both in terms of rocket propulsion as well as in airframe structures. And the combination of these technologies enable us to do things that have never been done before, particularly in the commercial space flight field. For the last few years, we've been working with industry partners, university partners, in developing this technology. We're going to continue to develop it here. In addition to our headquarters, our primary R&D center will be here. Our primary production facilities will be here as well. I want to tell you a little bit about why did we pick Titusville, why did we pick this part of Florida in comparison to other states. We considered locations like Weber and Davis counties, Utah, Houston, Texas, Adams County, Colorado, Las Cruces, New Mexico, and, of course, Brevard County, Titusville, Florida. We had key site selection criteria, which I have to say that this area here we gave exemplary ratings for in terms of qualified workforce, the fact that the city of Titusville, the state, were willing to come forward and meet our requirements for this airport here, Space Coast Regional Airport, to apply for an FAA spaceport launch license. And that process is underway right now. This, where you're sitting, is going to be America's next major spaceport. We also look for business criteria that would support and help us be successful. In the commercial space industry, there's a handful of U.S. states that are competing for this type of business, and many of them are dealing with the issue of how do we ensure that if businesses in a fledgling industry are able to take the risk, that their investors are able to take the risk on the development of new flight vehicles. And liability shielding was one of those criteria. And I remember my first site visit here, we were sitting over at NASA with Space Florida and the EDC groups, and I rolled out that this was one of our criteria. And Frank DeBello just kind of quietly moved a piece of paper over in front of me, and I looked down at it, and it was the liability shielding bill that your governor had signed into law just 2 months prior. We're also looking for strong incentives, and I can share with you that even if Florida had not exceeded the other states in terms of total value of incentives, we probably would have still come here. But I'm also pleased the fact that Florida outbid all the other states in terms of the quality and the magnitude of the incentives. Favorable business climate, I cannot understate the importance of that. There are many states today that, for various reasons, seem to be anti-business or they're anti-employer. What I can tell you here is Brevard County is an outstanding place for companies like ours to locate and find qualified workforce, hardworking people, dedicated, highly educated, highly skilled. It is one of the best we've seen in the country. Weather, notwithstanding the thunder that just came on cue, you're blessed with a lot of sunshine days, and as a consequence, for a firm, that a portion of our activity here is going to be test flying, very special flight vehicles. Having favorable weather to support that was very important. Access to airspace that would allow us to conduct those flight tests was also very important. And access to a rocket motor test facility, and kudos to both Florida Institute of Technology to support us in our early days here, but also Space Florida for committing to help us with developing a rocket motor test facility. And lastly but not least is a strong community support, and I got to compliment all of the officials here and economic development leaders. I have never seen such professionalism and coordinated work in all of my career. I'm not going to go into detail on this, and we'll be reporting more on this later, but just wanted to give you a sense of timeline that fall and winter of this year, we plan to set up our initial office in this facility where you're sitting. Instead of storing aircraft here, there's going to be very advanced R&D equipment that will be located in this facility, along with our initial team of people, including our management people who will be relocating here. Spring, summer of next year, we're very pleased that the city of Titusville came forward and said, hey, we will build a facility that you can use while you're constructing your main campus, and then later we'll use that same facility to attract other businesses like you. We thought that was extremely forward-thinking and supportive, and just a great statement of support. 2014 is when we expect to bring online our permanent facilities on a 33-acre campus, which if that door is open, you could look out the door there and see the tree line, and that's where this is going. 400,000 square feet is what we're projecting of modern manufacturing and R&D space. It'll house rocket propulsion product development in factories, propellants, and production and distribution, flight vehicle development and assembly, and atmospheric and suborbital flight operations. What are we going to manufacture here? What are we developing? We're developing hybrid rocket propulsion products that will be used for a wide range of applications, from boosters and upper stages to spacecraft propulsion to propulsion systems to support our spacecraft. We are developing dual propulsion, and when I say dual propulsion, I mean it includes both jet and rocket engines. Flight vehicles, these are very unique, capable vehicles. The first one on the left is we consider a primary trainer and a test bed. It has a jet engine and 2 rocket motors. It's designed to teach pilot astronaut candidates the basics of this type of flying. The second one there to the right of the middle one is a vehicle called Sidereus, which you don't have to look up. I'll tell you it's Latin for meaning among the stars. And Sidereus will be able to leave the atmosphere on a suborbital track, and there will be 2 models of that. The later model will be able to make a range of up to 7,000 nautical miles. The last one there is the vehicle that we intend to develop as fast as we can, because it'll be hopefully the world's first suborbital transport vehicle to carry passengers and ultra-high priority cargo from one continent to the next in 1/6 the time of commercial air travel today. You know, why intercontinental suborbital transport vehicles and services? And that's because the time is right. If you look at the history of transportation, anytime there was a major leap forward in transportation that was safe and reliable and affordable, it transformed transportation and became the dominant player. We believe we're on the brink of ushering in a new age of air transportation. Actually, that's not a correct statement, air and space transportation, that our company and our partners intend to develop. I won't go into details considering the heat here today. But intercontinental transport market is believed by groups like the FAA and many of the space industry organizations that we are members of to be the next multi-billion-dollar industry. We intend to be one of the leaders in that industry. What we're talking about is connecting major metropolitan centers around the world. And let me give you an example. Imagine that you could fly from, I love this one, Melbourne, Florida to Melbourne, Australia, but you can do this in under 2 hours. Imagine that you are a busy executive or you need to get a heart transplant, an organ that's donated, you need to get that to another place on the planet, many other applications, but you need to get it there fast and safely. This is what we're talking about. And from our analysis, there's no reason why this spaceport at Titusville cannot become one of the major spaceport hubs in the world. Something that you're probably all interested in is jobs that we plan to create. Now, we're not going to create all these jobs overnight. We have a lot of milestones to reach, but these are our job projections between now and 2017 and 2017-2018 timeframe, that we believe that if we meet all of our business plan goals, that we'll be employing over 1,300 people in high-skilled, high-paying jobs here in Brevard County. As you can imagine, with our headquarters, R&D, production, flight operations, we need a broad range of people with backgrounds, skills, education. And these are just a representative list of engineering jobs, management positions, scientific jobs, production, marketing and sales, administrative, flight operations. And we're going to be working closely with the state of Florida and the county on posting jobs as they become available and interviewing people. Actually, we're going to start interviewing for some select management positions just within the next few weeks. So we're already starting this process. Well, I'm going to go back to that one and end on that for a minute. And I guess I'm going to, before we have questions and answers, we got a couple of other speakers. And then at the end, we'll come back and respond to any questions that you or the press may have. Thank you so much.
Senator Nelson was not able to be here today, but was able to call us today from Washington, D.C.
Senator, are you there?
I am here.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jones, Senator Bill Nelson for you.
Well, good afternoon. I am right off the floor of the Senate where we are in session voting. And I just want to convey to everybody there that it takes a group of rocket people, which is what Brevard County is, to appreciate that a rocket company is coming and starting its business in our midst. And the fact that you all are going to invest $72 million to support operations there located at what I used to know as Taiko, now called the Space Coast Regional Airport, is very exciting. And I think it is symbolic of what is happening to Brevard County. As we have been a one-company town back in the early space days in the 50s and the 60s, and now our diversification into all kinds of new industries that many of them are affiliated with the space business and our space program, or they are spin-offs out of the space program. The fact that you all are developing a hybrid propulsion technology, the fact that you're making it ultra lightweight, that is very exciting, and that's the wave of the future as we try to get into space with highly reliable spacecraft, but at the same time are much more economical of putting payloads into space. We are doing this, for example, in our manned program. You're seeing a whole new generation of rockets that are much safer. Just look at the design. The crew's on the top instead of on the side so that you can save the crew all the way to orbit, even if there's an explosion on the pad, with new materials. Just a week ago, we celebrated the arrival of the spacecraft Orion for the big new monster rocket that will ultimately take us on our venture to Mars. It is made of all kinds of new materials, and for the first time, a spacecraft will be completely assembled in Florida instead of California. And so this is the changes that are going on, and I am so pleased that rocket crafters are coming to Titusville. It's another symbolic company of the future that we have of high technology in space. And I'm just real pleased when Mark called me and asked me to talk to the CEO about the advantages of Brevard County. It was my great pleasure to do that.
Well, Senator, on behalf of our senior management team at Rocket Crafters, we're pleased that you could take the time from your busy schedule to offer your remarks, and we think that this has been just a tremendous team effort, and everyone here in Brevard County and the state of Florida should be congratulated.
Well,
Thank you, Senator, for calling.
all right, have a great day. It's a great day to celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Bye now.
Well, as the senator said and Ron said earlier, it really is a team. It takes a team effort to attract a company like Rocket Crafters to the Space Coast and up here to Titusville. So I want to take a minute to thank and I'm sure I'll miss some, but I want to take a chance to thank our coalition partners, Enterprise Florida, Space Florida, Brevard County, the City of Titusville, and the Space Coast Economic Development Commission, the North Brevard Economic Development Zone Board, Brevard Workforce, the Titusville Cocoa Airport Authority, and whoever I forgot to mention for all of your efforts. It really, as I say, it takes a team effort, and this is a great team we have here, and you do owe us your thanks. This team approach brought us here today, welcoming a pioneering company that will further diversify our aerospace industry footprint on the Space Coast. With that, I would like to now introduce a champion of our area and a great supporter of economic development, Florida State Senator Thad Altman.
Well, yeah, this is a great day for the Space Coast and a great day for Titusville, the county seat of Brevard County here in the Space Coast. First, I first want to say a few words for Senator Andy Gardner, our new senator. You know, Senator Gardner is our incoming Senate president after Senator Gates. He will be our Senate designate president very soon. So we are blessed to have the leader of the Florida Senate that will be representing us here, right here in Titusville. He wanted me to communicate to you his unabiding support for the space program and his support for rocket crafters. You know, there's an IMAX movie at the Space Center called The Dream is Alive. It talks about the shuttle and what we've done in the space program. The dream is alive today with rocket crafters. They are here on the Space Coast doing what we've done many, many times. What they're doing is what no one else in the world has been able to do. It's incumbent upon us as this community here on the Space Coast to say, we're going to make this dream come alive. We're not finished today. The things that we've done to bring them here is just the beginning. We will be your partner. We will be fighting for you every inch of the way to make this happen. We know there are a lot of technological challenges. There are a lot of things that need to be done. We're not going to stop because this community has had experience. We've had experience in making things happen that have never happened before. We know the engineering and the technical challenges when you're trying to develop a new technology. We will be unfailing, we will be positive, and we will continue to fight for you and make this dream become a reality. Thank you.
Sorry, I had to step out and fix my makeup. I'd like to now welcome Jerry Sansom, Chairman of the Taiko Airport Authority, to say a few words.
Thank you, and I will be brief because I think I'm the guy between y'all and refreshments. I want to welcome everybody here today on behalf of the Titusville Cocoa Airport Authority, and welcome to the, along with Rocket Crafters, to the Space Coast Regional Airport and Economic Development Zone. Now, you may not have seen those last three words on the sign as you came in, but that is the mentality and the mindset of this board. This is not just an airport, this is an economic development zone, and we take our roles very seriously, and you can be sure that that's how we'll be operating in the future as we have been in the past. I want to thank all of the partners for their role in making this happen. Particularly want to thank our staff, Michael Powell, and our other staff for all the work they did in working with folks to help make that happen. And I wanted to say to rocket crafters, don't look at us as your landlord. We're not your landlord. We're one of your economic development partners in this business. When you have something you need and you want, you bring it to Michael, and just a few minutes later, Michael will bring it to the board, and our usual response to him is make it so. And so we commit that to you, and we look forward to growing with you in the future, and we appreciate it, and thank you everybody for coming.
Jerry, you really weren't the one standing between us and the refreshments, unfortunately. Commissioner Robin Fisher was determined to wrap up this morning's Brevard County Commission meeting in order to be with us here today, and he is. And I want to bring him up here. Robin, my good friend, please say a few words.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. I wasn't sure we were going to get here today, but what a great day for North Brevard and Titusville, and appreciate, Ron, you and your senior leadership choosing North Brevard to be your new home. And this is kind of a game changer for us, and we're very, very proud of that. And we've talked about putting ourselves in a position for good things to happen, and I think with the North Brevard Economic Development Zone, that's allowing us to do that, and they were very instrumental, that board, in creating incentives to help you come. And I hate to see that we didn't have to give you all that, but we're okay with it. But so I can't say enough about that board, and that board only happened because there was a couple commissioners that really understood our pain and our situation, and I'll be remiss in not mentioning Commissioner Whelan and Commissioner Nelson. I thank you for all your support, and so thank you very much, and appreciate what y'all do and helping us change the game up here. So with that, I know it's hot, you want to get your air conditioner. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for the support, and I keep thinking the harder we work, the luckier we're going to get, and that's what we're going to try to do. So thank you.
Rocket Crafters brings a unique opportunity to expand and diversify the Space Coast aerospace manufacturing base, and I know we're all looking forward to its success here in Titusville. Ron and Paul, to you and the entire team at Rocket Crafters, thank you and congratulations, and we wish you much success. As many of the speakers said today, when you need something, let us know. When you locate in Brevard County, when you locate on the Space Coast, when you locate in the city of Titusville, you just kind of borrow us. We're like your partner, so we're always around, so feel free. I'd like now to ask you and your team to the stage for a brief Q&A, and once the Q&A is done, I'm just going to say thank you for everybody, and once the Q&A is done, there are refreshments served in the office area, which, by the way, is air-conditioned, so thank you. Ron?
You gave us a pretty good overview, obviously, in the presentation, but for the folks that we have to break it down and boil it down for in about 1:30 seconds, I want you to first talk to us a little bit about Rocket Crafters and what exactly you all will be doing here in Titusville.
Well, we plan to do most of our operations here from our headquarters being here. All of our research and development will be here. Rocket motor production, propellant production, and flight vehicle assembly and flight testing.
You're giving some pretty impressive examples there. It sounds ambitious, to say the least, but you were talking about Melbourne, Florida to Melbourne, Australia as an example. What type of aircraft would this be?
Well, it'll be one similar to the ones we show over here, but these are vehicles that take off conventionally from a runway under air-breathing power. They accelerate to high altitude at high speed, then they transition to rocket-powered flight. They leave the atmosphere. They follow a downrange suborbital track. We're not going orbital. We use techniques to maintain constant velocity. It's called atmospheric skipping. And for the people that have aerospace backgrounds, they can go research that. And when we go to approach and land at the destination airport, we transition back to air-breathing jet-type propulsion systems so they can do a conventional approach and landing just like any commercial airplane.
How fast would they be?
We estimate that our transport vehicles will fly at a terminal velocity of Mach 6.
how soon do you hope to have this aircraft built and, I guess, available?
Well, the first aircraft we're developing is a test bed, and we will also use it as a primary trainer for pilot astronaut candidates. That vehicle will be followed by a more capable vehicle called Sidereus, and Sidereus will be our first suborbital vehicle, and we estimate that we'll start flight testing on that within 5 years, and that will be followed by Cosmos Mariner, which is our long-range transport, passenger as well as ultra-priority cargo delivery capability, and that vehicle will have approximately 7,000 nautical mile range. Imagine taking what is normally a very long, tedious commercial airline flight from Melbourne to Melbourne, and instead of it taking 16 hours where you're confined in a commercial aircraft, that flight would be under 2 hours. So it's a significant leap in terms of air and space transportation.
Tell us how large your company is now. We heard about initially about 150 jobs created, ultimately 1,300, but how large is this company right now?
Well, currently we have, between our advisory team, our senior management group, and our contractors, we're about 25 people at this point. And some of those contractors will replace with employees here in Titusville. And all of our management team is moving here, which is a statement of commitment, I think, to the city and to the county.
How big of a decision is the fact that you have a Space Coast workforce here, the workers from the space shuttle era already in place? How big of a decider was that?
Well, the total workforce here was a big deciding factor, not just the former NASA folks, but we met with senior people from Florida Institute of Technology, from Central Florida University, who have excellent aerospace programs and space programs and rocket propulsion programs. We were very pleased with what we saw there, and we are looking to those universities, your college system here, to provide us with a lot of employees. We think this will be great opportunities, not for just the seasoned workers, but also the young people coming into their first jobs out of college.
Ron, one thing that kind of stood out to me, you mentioned Space Coast Regional Airport being a spaceport.
That's correct.
That has not been said and even talked about.
No, and it's been, I would imagine, purposely kept quiet until today. And one of the conditions that we made for our site location is that we needed access to an FAA licensed spaceport, not a vertical spaceport like Kennedy, but one that would accommodate horizontal launch, conventional runway launch like we're planning. And we evaluated Space Coast Regional Airport as well as other airports in Central Florida, and we felt that this was the ideal location because of its immediate access to the Eastern Test Range as well as the spaceport's restricted airspace that covers Jacksonville. All of that supports our type of operation.
Okay, Mayor Tully, as I was listening out there, one of the things that stood out to me was the fact that it sounded like the city of Titusville had committed to helping build an interim headquarters for this company. So talk to me a little bit about, is this something that's being built from the ground up? And I guess what the costs will be to the city?
Well, the cost to the city will be very little because what we were able to do is structure a deal that is using city-owned land, but the building, their temporary quarters of about 27,000 square feet, will be constructed by private enterprise. Private enterprise will own the building and lease the land from the city very cheaply. In fact, it may be for nothing. Maybe it's $1 a year, something like that. The point is, the city was given this land, so the only cost to the city is that there's some number of acres there that we can't use in the short term, but we don't have any short-term plans for it anyway. So this was one of those beautiful gifts in that it was a win-win for everybody. We had some land that was available. We have a private developer who wants to build a building and lease it to them. They have temporary headquarters that they can use until they move into a permanent facility. It just couldn't work out any better. And I have to really praise our city staff because it was our staff that came up with this concept of how do you find temporary quarters for them while they get themselves up and running.
Obviously, I hear that there are a lot of people in the audience here who are very excited about this. How big of a deal is this for the city of Titusville?
Oh, it's a game changer. And the thing that's so neat about this is precisely the kind of company that we wanted to attract to Titusville. They fit us like a glove because look at our motto, Gateway to Nature and Space. And as I said in my opening remarks, we're opening up a new gateway to space. They're opening up a new gateway to space. And this city has such a long history and tradition of being involved in space, all the way back to Project Mercury. And every step along the way involved the next technological breakthrough. So here we are again on the cusp of another technological breakthrough, and I just couldn't be more proud of our community because we can be part of this, and it just fits into everything we want to do here.
Thank you, Mayor Tully. I appreciate it. From Utah, Texas, Colorado, and New Mexico, what types of incentives were available to get this company to choose this area?
Well, the state of Florida and Brevard County offer a host of incentives for different companies for different types of industries. This particular business received a qualified target industry incentive, an ad valorem tax credit, and one or two other tax credits and abatements that are available to them. That's really a matter for the company to disclose should they choose to do it. But the right thing to say here is that Florida is serious about doing business. I mean, look at the players we're competing against: New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Texas. I mean, these states are real players in the economic development world, and we're serious about business here.
This is really, it sounds like it's not just a fledgling company, but a fledgling industry that they're talking about doing here in terms of commercial suborbital flight here. I mean, how are you able to determine what the economic impact will be here? How do we figure that out?
Well, we're very closely with the company during the recruiting process to talk about what types of jobs they're going to need, what types of hiring plan they're going to have, what type of investment they're going to have, and what sort of tax revenue they will create as they begin to grow. Obviously, a company that is at 25 roughly employees now that expects to grow to 150 by the end of 2014, and then rocket out from there as time goes by, there is some risk. Do you take a risk on a game changer, as the mayor just said? Absolutely. It's the perfect fit for Brevard. It's the perfect fit for Titusville. It's the perfect fit for the workers who've been displaced by the retirement of the space shuttle. It's absolutely ideal. So yes, we've all taken, the state's taken a risk, the county's taken a risk, the city's taken a risk, but the technology has been proven. They've got bench scale testing done. We believe that they can be successful, and we're here to support them in their numerous challenges to see this thing come to market.
I guess my other question would be, are there certain goals or benchmarks that the company has to meet in order for these incentives to kick in?
All incentives are performance-based. You don't hire the jobs, you don't get the incentives. You don't build the facility, you don't make the investment, you don't get the ad valorem tax credit. So they're all performance-based. Nothing really is for nothing. All economic development organizations, and particularly the EDC here in the Space Coast, we do a return on investment calculation as we look at how the business will grow and the types of revenues they're going to create, jobs they're going to create, spin-off jobs that they create, and we see what we can afford to do for them. And so that's how economic development really works, and we are very serious about it. We have the County Commission and our investors and the citizens of Brevard County entrust us not to make foolish decisions with incentive money. So we have to prove that the investments that we're making on behalf of everybody are performance-based.
Okay, that's all I have.